What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode. And today we are talking about the 5 fastest SUVs under 20K. If you got a little bag on you, you trying to get into something that's big, economy friendly, not from a gas standpoint, but I should say practical, and you want to drive fast, this the list you need. Bring it in. Let's talk about it. What's good, y'all? So y'all might know about some of the cars on this list, and you might not know about some of the cars on this list. Most of these cars are common, but they're all pretty much in the same category as far as speed goes and practicality goes. Some a little better than others, but all in all really good cars if you take care of them. Yeah, they may break the bank in the long term, but we ain't gonna talk about that right now. What we talking about is all of these cars is under 20K. And if you want to jump into one, that's what you can look forward to. So without further ado, let's get into the list. Number one, 2007 to 2013 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT 8. It's got a 6.1 liter to 6.4 liter V8. We talking 420 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Now, mind you, they changed the body styles and some of the specs between 07 and 13. They actually changed it in 2011. So for the 2011, that will have 470 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, compared to the 07, which is 420 and 420. 0 to 60, 4.7 seconds. What we doing? Put the fam in the back. Put the groceries in the back. Do whatever you need to do. We're going to take a trip. We're going to take a trip in style. We're going to take a trip in speed. And it's going to be a practical trip. That's going to be fun at the same time. You know, life is too short to not enjoy the car that you in, that you driving in consistently. It's lit. So I actually like this car. It's all-wheel drive. It's not too expensive to get into, and it's not too expensive to maintain. Reliability isn't the greatest, but you feel me? Hey, you in a fast car? I mean, let's just be honest. It is a Jeep, so it is easier to work on. So, you know, if you got a mechanic in the area, he know how to work on these things, or you know how to work on these things. It's not going to be that tough. Parts are not going to be that hard to find. So this is going to be a good bang for your buck, especially if you're good with cars. Issues that may come up, you might have some transmission issues. You might have fuel pump issues, bad starters, radiator fans, the leather might peel, and the headlights may go out. So yeah, you want to definitely do an extensive, I would say, look over the vehicle that you're going to potentially be purchasing. Make sure that everything checks out based on the issues that I gave you. And if it got even more issues, make sure you check that too. Like I said, these are not the greatest with reliability, but if you're a mechanic or you know a mechanic, you can have a fun ride. Let's move on to the next vehicle on this list. And that would be one of my faves, the 2010 to 2015 BMW X5M. What we talking? 4.4 liter V8, 555 horsepower, and 501 pound-feet of torque. Now, mind you, this is something similar to the Jeep. In 2014, they changed the body style and they changed the specs of the vehicle as well. So the 2014 version has 567 horsepower and 553 torque, compared to the 2010, which is 555 and 501. Keep that in mind. 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds. Twin turbo. Come on, man. So one, we already know it's very tunable. It's a BMW. It has a V8 twin turbo engine. You can put some money into that. It actually handles very well compared to its size. So you're going to be able to do what you need to do in this vehicle and have fun while doing it. And it's not going to feel as heavy as it is. But it is a BMW at the end of the day. Reliability is more so, believe it or not, slightly above average. Not even slightly above it. It's really average. I'll be honest. It's average, but some people had above average, some people had below average, but it's kind of right there in the middle. Where if you take care of it, it's gonna take care of you. It is a foreign vehicle, so you do know it's gonna cost. It's definitely gonna cost more in the long run over the Jeep, but you're buying a foreign vehicle. I assume you already know that. So if you got any BMW mechanics or even foreign mechanics that know how to work on these cars, it's going to be a major plus. Any issues that may come up, cooling turbo hoses, I should say, spark plugs, the coil pack, those go out very often. So just make sure you got a coil pack and some spark plugs that flip out. Those are easy to replace. Valve stem seal leaks, timing chain issues, PVT systems or PVC systems, I'm sorry, alternator issues. So you do kind of get a decent amount of issues with this car, but a lot of these are kind of easy to fix because there's a lot of plastic in the engine. You see what I'm saying? A lot of plastic on what they use as far as hoses and things like that. The cooling turbo hoses and systems. I had an X5 back in the day, and that's one of the first things I had to fix because it started to leak cooling because it had a crack in it, but it was a plastic housing that held the antifreeze. So I had to replace that. So little stuff like that. Even if it has that and it hasn't went out, you just want to do a preventive maintenance check. Make sure you swap that out, so it's going to be good in the long run, because that's just going to be something that you're going to have to do anyway. But you might run into timing chain issues. Like I said, that's more complicated, but if you got somebody that works on these cars, you should be good. But yeah, I think it's a good car. Of course, it's practical. You're going to fit the whole fam in there. Y'all going to have fun, and it's tunable, so keep that in mind. Let's move on. Next on the list, 2014 to 2018 Audi SQ5. This comes equipped with a 3.0-liter V6 with 354 horsepower and 346 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is similar to the other two. The only difference is the horsepower stayed the same, but the torque raised up after 2017, and it raised up to 369 pound-feet of torque instead of 346. 0 to 60, 5.1 seconds. So now this is going to be smaller than the previous two. It's an Audi SQ5. Not significantly smaller, but it's going to be a little smaller, and it's going to be a little slower because it has a V6 and not the V8, but it is also tunable. See what I'm saying? So you're going to be able to do some things to this, make it a little quicker. It is an Audi. The reliability is average, but it is expensive to maintain. I'll be honest, I've had bad experiences with Audis in the past. Y'all may not have. You feel me? My first Audi I loved. My second Audi, I had a horrible relationship with. So let's just leave it at that. I mean, you might get a good one, you might get a bad one, but if you keep up with it, or the person who had it before you kept up with it, you really may get lucky. It's a nice car, and it has good features in it. Leather, the seats, it has a lot of good things in it, a lot of good things going for it. So this is kind of, if you want something a little smaller than the regular size SUV, this is going to be a good one for you. It still handles pretty well as well, and you really can't beat that. Issues that may occur: water pump, thermostat, PCV, timing chain tensioners. It burns a lot of oil. The start-stop system may go out, and fuel pump issues. So similar issues to the Beamer, but these are going to be a little bit different. Again, if you got an Audi mechanic, you're good. If you're a mechanic, you're good. So not the worst, not the best, right in the middle. Next on the list, 2013 to 2018 Ford Explorer Sport. This is equipped with a 3.5-liter V6, 365 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 6.2 seconds. This is also a twin turbo. So again, now we come in a little slower. So this is even slower than the Audi a little bit, but it's bigger. So it's the size of an X5, the size of a Grand Cherokee. The power is respectable. The 0 to 60, low sixes, that's fine, but it's a twin turbo, so it's tunable. You could definitely get more power out of this engine, right? And this has average to good reliability. We already know they've used these as cop cars. Of course, cop cars is a little bit different as far as their specs goes to the actual versions they give to the public. But still, it's something that is more so reliable than I would say possibly these other vehicles on this list, because they used it in a bulk load of police interceptors and things of that nature. But what you're going to get out of this engine. It's quick, it's tunable, you can do what you need to do in it. It has a lot of space. Issues that may run into, and another thing, it's not that expensive. So if things do go wrong, it's still afforded at the end of the day. You won't have to spend too much money on it. Issues you'll run into: suspension issues, steering issues, electronic issues, noise issues as far as the cabin goes, creaks and squeaks, stuff like that, and leaks. You might run into just some engine leaks here and there, maybe transmission leaks, stuff like that. But on the contrary, as far as that vehicle goes, it's going to be more so reliable, and it's not going to be costly to fix. So that's going to be a good entry level if you really don't want to break the bank up front or down the line. You see what I'm saying? But you still want something quick, something fast, something practical. All right, next on this list, which is number 5, it is a 2010 to 2014 Range Rover Sport Supercharged. This is equipped with a 5-liter V8, 510 horsepower, 461 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 5.2 seconds. So I'm going to just be 100 with y'all. This by far is the least reliable vehicle on this list. It's a Range Rover. I'm sure even if you young, you know what the history of Range Rovers. They're not good. They're great as far as a car to have when they're good, but most of the time they're not good, so they're not good. Beautiful cars. They look really good. Bad reliability. Just being honest. Very expensive to maintain. So if you just don't have an abundance of Range Rover / Land Rover parts that you could implement with this vehicle, and or you don't have a mechanic on hand, I would stay far away from this. I'll just be honest with you. It's a beautiful car. You may get lucky. Someone may have just done all the maintenance with this car because they loved it, and now you got it after them, and all the pieces and things that go wrong with it is right, and you might be able to get in. But even then, you're still liable to have issues just because it's a Range Rover. Just being honest with y'all. Issues that you may run into: gas tank seal, lower control arms, oil leaks, electrical issues, the supercharger going out, transfer case, rear differential, and timing chain issues. So all of these things are liable to happen. It's just about when and how much work the person before you put into this vehicle, so you can avoid the BS going forward. Still, very nice car. Interior, inside and out, it's nice. It's enticing. It really is. I'll be honest with you. If you always wanted a Range, you can jump in one of those under 20K all day. But are you really willing to deal with them problems when they arise? And do you got that money to deal with them problems when they arise? That's a question for you to answer. Alright, so that's the top 5. But you know me, I always gotta add a bonus. So what's the bonus for today? The bonus for today is a 2015 to 2016 Mercedes-Benz GL63 AMG, 5.4 liter V8, 550 horsepower, 560 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 4.8 seconds. Now, this is a Benz. You thought I was going to just miss Benz? I threw Beamer in there. You thought I was going to... Nah, we got you. Benz, believe it or not, this is average reliability. It is going to look a little dated, because Benz, they usually, once they get with a new program, the old program just looks like, damn, that was years ago type. So it's going to look a little dated, but if you could deal with that, you're going to be perfectly fine with it. Yes, it's expensive to maintain. It is a Benz. It does have a big V8 5.4 liter, but it's fast, it's practical. This is actually one of the bigger cars on this list as well. So you're liable to get a third row and be able to fit a lot of stuff and people in this car. Still very nice. Issues that you may run into: headlight control unit, vacuum leaks, and it's just very expensive, to be honest. Little stuff that does happen to it, it is very expensive, but it's decently reliable. You see what I'm saying? I would take this all day over the Range Rover Sport, just based on reliability alone. You see what I'm saying? So this is the 5 fastest SUVs under 20K with the bonus. Y'all let me know what y'all would purchase. Me personally, I love my Beamers. I gotta go with the X5M. And if I didn't do the X5M, I'd probably get the Benz. No exaggeration, I'd probably get the Benz. I know a lot of people like muscle, they might go with the Jeep, but y'all let me know what y'all will go with. And just like that, if you like this video, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.